Meridian Road, which is where the school's located, and they were walking up and down in front of the school protesting, carrying various signs.
Okay. Was Mr. Gaston among them?
No.
Okay, where was he?
He was seated in the grass on the opposite side of the road, right parallel to Ms. Spees' classroom.
Right. Your Honor, may I approach the witness with an exhibit?
Yes.
Thank you. Right here. Looking at State's exhibits, looks like 7, 8, and 9. Can you, on any of them, just think which one applied? Could you please point out to the jury? It shows on there where Mr. Gaston was sitting when you were on.
Well, the best one that depicts this.
The numbers on the back.
Okay.
Identify it to record, please.
Okay, is State's exhibit number 7.
Okay.
And Mr. Gaston would have been sitting over here in the grass on the opposite side of the road, right where my finger is here.
So as you're looking at that exhibit, you're looking, as someone would look at that photograph, it's on the right edge of that photograph. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay, as a person looks at it.
Yes.
One thing happened since December 12th. One thing. There was a protest by the families of Monitor, and Will was there across the street taking pictures for the newspaper. To tell you, to tell the public, since the regular media won't, what's going on? You need to be aware of this. If you're a grandmother and you're having trouble with your daughter and your grandchild, you call CSD, your family's gone. Just that quick. You call them for help. All right, if the people don't start knowing what's going on, God help us all. We are doing our part to inform. It's called public right to know. It's the most important law in the land, and the most important right in the state. They know it. This judge knows it. This DA knows it. It's the core of our freedom we're talking about here. We're not talking about abusing our freedom. We're not talking about abusing anyone. The only one that's abused anybody is Mrs. Spees and Robertson. Mrs. Spees has done nothing but abuse this little girl in her care and protection. The heinous crimes that she's committed. We didn't get to hear most of it. The conversations, vile, disgusting, probably 25 pages or better that I read. Full pages of discussions of daddy sex and vaginas. Now, I don't like saying these words. This is ugly. Ugly. I didn't write this. But that's what this woman does. She said that we were selfish, self-centered. We cared about only ourselves. We're demanding that all of your rights be upheld. We're telling everybody as loudly as we can, demand your rights. Don't go into the courtroom and be sheep to slaughter. It breaks my heart, especially now that I've learned what Juris is and we've gotten in here doing this. We could not do this with an attorney. We said this. We would be up the road already. Actually, with an attorney, a year ago, he would have lost his daughter, and he'd probably be in jail somehow if they could figure that one out. They would do that. I don't know. If she'd been gone, he was dying when I met him a year and a half ago. They overwhelmed him to the point that he was just barely alive. I've never seen anything like any of this. I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. And that's honest truth. Courtroom for an arraignment hearing, that's all it's supposed to be is time and place. setting up a time and place for a hearing. That's all that was supposed to have been. But Judge Engelmeyer rearrested him on the orders of Lipscomb. Lipscomb is the presiding judge. He is more determined than anybody in this building that we stop what we're doing. We could pay for this with our lives. If it came to that, we would. Because I don't know, I've raised my children. I have a 22-year-old daughter, 8-year-old son. I've taught my children that you stand up for what's right. Always. No compromise.
Attorney, we're prosecuting this innocent man whose daughter they stole. I mean, it's disgusting. This is the essence of what our judicial system and our government has become. A band of criminals, pornographers, thieves, people who kidnap children. A disgusting bunch of immoral fools and people who destroy the essence of family and livelihood in America. We got to ask ourselves, is this a land of liberty? Is this what America stands for? People who come in and kidnap children, then accuse their father?
It's disgusting. I mean, there's no way around it. You're losing your happy smile, Joyce.
I didn't get to watch that clip.
Yeah, it's not a...
You caught me like a deer.
Caught like a deer. Okay.
But William...
And I can tell you people listening, if you see a CPS worker, ask her why she's part of an organization that does kiddie porn for the state. Because they do it.
And they don't prosecute them.
And they don't prosecute the porn. Ask that CPS worker why she's allowed to steal children with no jury trial. No jury trial. And they'll tell the parent right after they take them from some pretty young thing like Joyce here, they'll steal that child. And then they'll say to her, well, we'll let you see your child next week if you sign this agreement. And if she signs that agreement, she just signed away her right to her children.
Or what they did to me, a similar thing. They tried to murder me in front of my children. Yeah, they tried to murder you. Shot at me with my children in line of fire and immediately ordered that I may not communicate with my children. They then threw me in jail with false charges accusing me after they literally tried to blow my head off in front of my children.
It was
accusing
disgusting.
me of child endangerment.
Yeah.
This is the nature.
That was insane. The cop points at you, shoots at you with your children in the car, and all you're doing is driving in your garage on a dead-end road. It's not like you can escape anywhere.
Coming home from court where I filed a temporary restraining order to prevent my ex-wife, who they knew made false police calls, who they knew had a stolen $1 million life insurance policy on my
I documented that. And she had gone off and got pregnant with your assistant, and she was moved in with him already. Yeah. A guy that you trusted.
Just a personal assistant.
A personal assistant, but he basically took everything from you.
They actually handed everything to him.
They handed it to him.
The system has handed this man who was screwing my wife while he was my personal assistant.
And the judges are up there right now. They still want to put you in jail.
From me. Yeah, they filed 9 malicious cases against me. Bob Lee, the district attorney from Santa Cruz, Samuel S. Stevens, Michael E. Barton, the judges
all criminals.
There.
These guys are all criminals.
Filthy criminals.
Filthy criminals. Up there in Santa Cruz County.
Know exactly what's going on. And the same with Gaston. You know, the issues we're looking at here, they knew about the pornography tape. They knew this teacher committed that crime.
And this is what gets me.
Nothing.
They did something.
Oh, Clive, they go after the father.
They did something. They tried to put the good dad in prison. 6 felonies. I'm going to give you the bottom line before we go to all this tape. He finally got a trial, but first they tried to hold him in contempt. First they tried to say, we're going to sentence you under contempt. And he said, no, I'll agree to your restraining order continue, but I'm not agreeing to being in contempt because I am not. I publish a newspaper and I have the right to gather information as a periodical publisher under First Amendment. They're attacking the First Amendment everywhere, but it started in Oregon, the most criminal state outside of New Jersey and Nevada.